Well, hello, I'm Forgiveness Willie, teaching forgiveness from the Ozarks, here for Lesson 104 from A Course in Miracles. We're reading from the Foundation for Inner Peace version, and I think we'll just sing the whole song. If you're liking to play along, it's in G, C, and D. I seek but what belongs to me in truth, for April the 14th of 2026, Tuesday. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Today's idea continues with the thought that joy and peace are not but idle dreams. They are your right because of what you are. They come to you from God, who cannot fail to give you what He wills. Yet must there be a place made ready to receive His gifts. They are not welcomed gladly by a mind that has instead received the gifts it made where His belong, where His belong, as substitutes for them. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Today we would remove all meaningless and self-made gifts, which we have placed upon the holy altar where God's gifts belong. His are the gifts that are our own in truth. His are the gifts that we inherited before time was, and that will still be ours when time has passed into eternity. His are the gifts that are within us now, for they are timeless, for they are timeless, and we need not wait to have them. They belong to us today. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Therefore we choose to have them now, and know in choosing them, and know in choosing them in place of what we made. We but unite our will with what God wills. Therefore we choose to have them now, and know in choosing them, in choosing them in place of what we made. We but unite. We but unite our will with what God wills, and recognize the same as being one. Our longer practice periods today, the hourly 5 minutes of truth, the hourly 5 minutes given truth for your salvation, should begin with this: I seek but what? I seek but what belongs to me in truth. And joy and peace are my inheritance. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. And joy and peace Then lay aside the conflicts of the world that offer other gifts and other goals made of illusions, witnessed to by them and sought for only in a world of dreams. I seek but what belongs to me in truth, and joy and peace are my inheritance. All this we lay aside and seek instead that which is truly ours. As we ask to recognize what God has given us, we clear a holy place within our minds before His altar, where His gifts of peace and joy are welcome, and to which we come to find what has been given us by Him. We come in confidence today, aware that what belongs to us, aware that what belongs to us in truth is what He gives, and we would wish for nothing else, for nothing else belongs to us in truth. I seek but what belongs to me in truth, and joy and peace are my inheritance. So do we clear the way for Him today by simply recognizing that His will is done already, and that joy and peace belong to us as His eternal gifts, and joy and peace belong to us as His eternal gifts. We will not let ourselves lose sight of them between the times we come to seek for them where He has laid them. This reminder will we bring to mind as often as we can. I seek but what belongs to me in truth, God's gifts of joy and peace are all I want. I seek but what belongs to me in truth, God's gifts of joy and peace are all I want. God's peace and joy are all I want. Is it all you want? If it's all you want, you'll get it, because that's what it is. That's reality. Everything else other than that is an illusion that we want to wake up from, a dream we're dreaming. I seek but what belongs to me in truth, and joy and peace are my inheritance. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. God's gifts of joy and peace are all I want. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today. Here I've got a burdock patch here. We're going to talk a little bit more about burdock. Can you see that burdock right there? It's several plants. There's one plant here, one plant here. There's like a half dozen plants there, I expect. Anyway, we're going to talk about burdock in a few minutes. Let's go take a look in our text reading. And let's look at, we're in chapter 12, Roman numeral 3, the investment in reality. I once asked you to sell all you have and give to the poor and follow me. He actually said that to the rich young ruler. And, but now he's saying that, when I said that to one person, I said it to all of you. I once and said that it was recorded in Matthew chapter 19, verse 21. I once asked you to sell all you have and give to the poor and follow me. This is what I meant. If you have no investment in anything in this world, you can teach the poor where their treasure is. The poor are merely those who have invested wrongly, and they are poor indeed. Because they are in need, it is given you to help them, because you are among them. Consider how perfectly your lesson would be learned if you were unwilling to share their poverty. For poverty is lack, and there is but one lack, since there is but one need. The only thing we need is the atonement, the answer, God's answer. Paragraph 2. Suppose a brother insists on having you do something you think you do not want to do. His very insistence should tell you that he believes salvation lies in it. If you insist on refusing and experience a quick response of opposition, you are believing that your salvation lies in not doing it. You then are making the same mistake he is, and are making his error real to both of you. Insistence means investment, and what you invest in is always related to your notion of salvation. The question is always twofold. First, what is to be saved? And second, how can it be saved? 3. Whenever you become angry with a brother for whatever reason, you're believing that the ego is to be saved, and to be saved by attack. If he attacks, you are agreeing with this belief, and if you attack, you're reinforcing it. Now remember, he might attack in his mind, but you don't have to see it that way. You don't have to reinforce his attack as an attack. What can you do? We learned the other day, you can convert it into an appeal for help. That's not an attack at all. It's maybe attack in form, but in substance, it's an appeal for help. If he attacks, you are agreeing with this belief, and if you attack, you are reinforcing it. Remember that those who attack are poor. Their poverty asks for gifts, not for further impoverishment. You who could help them are surely acting destructively if you accept their poverty as yours. If you had not invested as they had, it would never occur to you to overlook their need. Wow, that's where we want to get to, where it doesn't even occur to us to overlook our brothers and sisters' needs. Paragraph 4, recognize what does not matter. And if your brothers ask you for something, in quotes, outrageous, do it, because it does not matter. Refuse, and your opposition establishes that it does matter to you. It is only you, therefore, who have made the request outrageous, and every request of a brother is for you. Why would you insist in denying him? For to do so is to deny yourself and impoverish both. He is asking for salvation as you are. Poverty is of the ego and never of God. No outrageous request can be made of one who recognizes what is valuable and wants to accept nothing else. 5. Salvation is for the mind, and it is attained through peace. Salvation is for the mind and is attained through peace. This is the only thing that can be saved and the only way to save it. Any response other than love arises from a confusion about the what and the how of salvation, and this is the only answer. Never lose sight of this, and never allow yourself to believe, even for an instant, that there is another answer. For you will surely place yourself among the poor who do not understand that they dwell in abundance and that salvation has come. 6. To identify with the ego is to attack yourself and make yourself poor. That is why everyone who identifies with the ego feels deprived. What he experiences then is depression or anger, because what he did was to exchange self-love for self-hate, making him afraid of himself. He does not realize this. Even if he is fully aware of anxiety, he does not perceive its source as his own ego identification. and he always tries to handle it by making some sort of insane arrangement with the world. He always perceives this world as outside himself, for this is crucial to his adjustment. He does not realize that he makes this world, for there is no world outside of him. 7. If only the loving thoughts of God's Son are the world's reality, the real world must be in his mind. His insane thoughts, too, must be in his mind. But an internal conflict of this magnitude he cannot tolerate. A split mind is endangered, and the recognition that it encompasses completely opposed thoughts within itself is intolerable. Therefore, the mind projects the split, not the reality. Everything you perceive as the outside world is merely your attempt to maintain your own ego identification. Everything you perceive as the outside world is merely your attempt to maintain your ego identification, for everyone believes that identification is salvation. That's an interesting idea. Everyone believes that identification is salvation. Yet consider what has happened, for thoughts do have consequences to the thinker. You have become at odds with the world as you perceive it, because you think it is antagonistic to you. This is a necessary consequence of what you have done. You have projected outward what is antagonistic to what is inward, and therefore you would have to perceive it this way. That is why you must realize that your hatred is in your mind and not outside it before you can get rid of it, and why you must get rid of it before you can perceive the world as it really is. 8. I said before that God so loved the world that he gave it to his only begotten Son, and he made that correction earlier on. But that's a quote out of John 3:16, where it actually says, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. But he said that it really should have the little conjunction to. He gave it to his only begotten Son. It was a better, clear understanding of that passage, he said. God does love the real world, and those who perceive its reality cannot see the world of death. For death is not of the real world, in which everything reflects the eternal. God gave you the real world in exchange for the one you made out of your split mind, which is the symbol of death. For if you could really separate yourself from the mind of God, you would die. 9. The world you perceive is a world of separation. Perhaps you're willing to accept even death to deny your Father. Yet he would not have it so, and so it is not so. Even in death, you can't get away from God. You don't want to anyway. That's where your joy and peace abide. I seek but what belongs to me in truth, and joy and peace are my inheritance. The world you perceive is a world of separation. Perhaps you're willing to accept even death to deny your Father, yet he would not have it so, and so it is not so. You still cannot will against him, and that is why you have no control over the world you made. It is not a world of will because it is governed by the desire to be unlike God, and this desire is not will. The world you made is therefore totally chaotic, governed by arbitrary and senseless laws, and without meaning of any kind. For it is made out of what you do not want, projected from your mind because you are afraid of it. Yet this world is only in the mind of its maker, along with his real salvation. Do not believe it is outside yourself, for only by recognizing where it is will you gain control over it. For you do have control over your mind, since the mind is the mechanism of decision. And the last paragraph finishes section 10. If you will recognize that all the attack you perceive is in your own mind and nowhere else, you will at last have placed its source. And where it begins it must end. For in this same place also lies salvation. The altar of God where Christ abideth is there. You have defiled the altar, but not the world. Yet Christ has placed the atonement on the altar for you. Bring your perceptions of the world to this altar, for it is the altar to truth. There you will see your vision changed, and there you will learn to see truly. From this place where God and His Son dwell in peace, and where you are welcome, you will look out in peace and behold the world truly. Yet to find the place, you must relinquish your investment in the world as you project it, allowing the Holy Spirit to extend the real world to you from the altar of God. Okay, wow, a lot there. That's we could have spent a lot more time talking about that one, but read it again if you got a little bit out of it. There's a lot there. That's all I can say. What's going on around the world today? And of course, all day today we're going to say, I seek but what belongs to me in truth. God's gifts of joy and peace are all I want. That's my inheritance, joy and peace. Okay, it's Vaisakhi or Baisakhi Day, which was actually yesterday. Maybe it's a couple-day holiday. It's the Sikhs' 1699. They formed the community of Sikhs. It's called Khalsa Panth, and it was by Guru Gobind Singh. It's also, Baisakhi is also a Hindu Punjabi New Year celebration. And it's an ag party, agricultural party. Vishnu Malayam, which is the New Year in Kerala, in the Kerala state in India, Vishnu Malayan, and Bengali New Year in Pohila Boishakhi in the Bengal region of India and Bangladesh. And then out of holidays and observances, I found that it's the day of Georgian language. So what's our word for peace in Georgian? It'd be Mshveedoba. 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 The word I was going to use was from the Punjabi region, since it's a Punjabi New Year in India. And they're on the Indus and its tributaries, the Beas, the Ravi, the Sirks, the Chenib, and the Chelam rivers. Anyway, the word for in Punjabi, the word for peace is Santi. Santi be with you. Or in the Georgian language, Mshveedoba. Mshveedoba and Santi. And also in holidays and observances, it's Dictionary Day, Dreams of Reason Feast Day, Dream Big, Shoot for the Stars, International Moment of Laughter Day. Wow, that goes good with our lesson. And joy and peace is my inheritance. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Look up at the sky day. Be kind to lawyers day. Be kind to everyone day. World Quantum Day. Pathologist's Assistant Day. Pathologist's Assistant Day. Not the pathologist day. Dolphin Day. There's 40 to 50 species worldwide. I noted that there's at least 5 genera of dolphins, ranging different. I noticed anyway, there's 5 different genera, at least. Ex-Spouse Day. Always have good feelings for everyone, no matter what's the histories behind you. Practice forgiveness towards everyone. Gardening Day. Yeah, we're going to talk about a little gardening here in a minute. Pecan Day, the Caria illinoisensis. And there's 1,000 different varieties, so pick the right variety for your climate. Because there's some that grow real far north and some that grow real far south. Pick what works best for you. And then you can get the paper shells or the different ones that are easy to crack or bigger. Perfume Day, Pan American Day, Air Force Reserve Birthday, Children of Alopecia Day, Reach as High as You Can Day. Is that the same as Look Up at the Sky Day and International Moment of Laughter? Anyway, lots of things going on today. It seemed like there was another one. Dreams of Reason Feast Day. Okay, let's see. And I said we were going to talk about burdock. Let's take just a minute. Number 77 in the herb book, Arctium lapa, aperient. It's a laxative. To some people it doesn't work as a laxative. Use a tea or a tincture for stomach ailments. Will neutralize or is said to neutralize or eliminate poisons in the system. That's why I say it's a blood cleanser. Fresh leaves stimulate bile secretion and are used for liver problems. A decoction of the leaves make good wash for sores and acne. Fresh bruised leaves are used for poison ivy and oak. Just scratch them on there if you get into poison ivy, if you're not close to water. Seeds contain an oil that is used by skilled medical persons to increase effects, and they work quicker and stronger, but should be used with caution. Collect the root the second year, spring or fall. Roots are edible and used extensively as a vegetable in the Orient. When the plant, and you want to harvest them when the plant is in stem form and form flowers. That's its second year. The root may be used fresh or dried. And let's see if we can get, I wanted to show you. Here's one I picked earlier. I ate a piece of it, a piece of the root earlier, and I cut it off. Anyway, there's one of the leaves. I just picked this one. I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and harvest a little bit. And so that's what, that pretty good sized stems go down. Try to dig out underneath them and get the whole thing. Okay, well, let's see. And I said out of edible landscaping, we've got the, is this the Jean gooseberry? Yeah, the Jean gooseberry. And it says of the Jean gooseberry, Jean is a late ripening dark red dessert gooseberry with an unknown European pedigree. The fruit ripens from mid to late July, about 1 week later than the fruit of Invicta, and is ripe for about 1 week. The fruit ripens to a deep red. The yield from Jean is higher than from many other gooseberry varieties. The fruit taste is full and sweet. The plant tends to be somewhat spreading, growing to 5 feet high and 5 feet wide, zones 5 through 7. Okay, and let's see if we can open our book again and close with what we're to think about throughout the day. I seek, but what belongs to me in truth, and joy and peace are my inheritance. I seek but what belongs to me in truth, and joy and peace are my inheritance. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. God's gifts of joy and peace are all I want. I seek but what belongs to me in truth, and joy and peace are my inheritance. God's gifts of joy and peace are all I want. And if from the Punjabi people, Santi, and from the Georgian people, Mshveedoba, or Santi. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. God's gifts of joy and peace are all I want. Santi and Mshveedoba.